So in the process of tearing out the front end, I realized that I forgot to recharge the battery for the GoPro and it died, so I didn't capture any of the work on the front that I accomplished. So I'm going to go quickly walk you guys through kind of some of the work that I did so far. As I said, the next step I was going to do was start taking out the front end of the vehicle as well as these front quarter panels. I have removed the front bumper, not the brackets holding the bumper, but the bumper itself, and the front valance, I believe is what it's called. Bumper is obviously wrecked to crap, so I'm probably not going to use that again. Ended up taking out the radiator support in the process. And of course, like I said, here's the front valance. Goes up underneath the front of the vehicle. From there, I removed the radiator, some radiator hoses. I did drain it. It's sitting over there. I don't think I'll reuse it. I think I'll probably get an aftermarket radiator. I'm not really trying to keep the car stock. I'd rather go for new performance. So one problem I did run into while trying to remove the front quarter panels were the bolts themselves. A lot of it was rusted really bad. And unfortunately, I guess the way the bottom washer works with these bolts, it's kind of welded or tied in so it doesn't actually detach. But what had happened was with the rust, it actually broke loose, and so now the bolt just turns and I can't get them out. So I'm probably gonna have to cut the bolts at the base of the head of the bolt and remove them manually. Here, I'll go ahead and show you kind of what the problem is. Retaining bolt or U-bolt or castle bolt, whatever it's called, has I guess just busted loose, and so it just kind of rotates around. I'm gonna have to cut it loose and then come back in and repatch it later in order to make sure it adheres. Unfortunately, this happened on both sides, so just my luck. I'll have to come in here and, like I said, probably cut up underneath the bolts to release these front coral panels so I can take them off. I think for now, for today, I'm going to continue just cleaning out the engine compartment, slowly taking everything apart just to get to the engine. I really want to dump some Marvel Mystery Oil through the spark plug holes to try and soak the engine and see if it can get it to unseize, and we'll go from there. Like I said a million times, I'm going to take out this front fender and ran into that bolt problem, so I'm just going to cut them off and buy them later. Probably not the best route, but it's like I'm messing around. I did pull the spark plugs as I was going to go ahead and throw that Marvel Mystery Oil in the engine to loosen up the piston rings and everything. I did find oil on the ends of the spark plugs themselves. This can occur when there's a valve cover leak. In these types of cases, obviously with that oil in there, it affects the ability for that cylinder to produce combustion, So just something interesting I found along the way as I was tearing apart the car. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and dump Marvel Mystery Oil. I don't plan on trying to turn the car over or anything like that. It's more or less just try to break up any gunk on the inside as I tear apart the vehicle to make it easier to drop out the heads and just basically tear it apart. So, as I said previously, the engine was seized up, and so I wasn't able to turn it over to separate the transmission from the engine. So I'm pulling the transmission as a whole with the engine. Disconnected the bracket for the transmission and the engine bolt itself, all the other hardware, and we'll see if we can pull it out. Engine's out. Probably shouldn't have done that alone. Now, since it is seized, I had to pull the transmission. We'll go ahead and separate the bell housing and get at the torque converter and try and separate it all together so I can get it on the engine stand. Broke some tools, bought some tools. Let's get this flywheel off and engine mounted. Well, it took much longer than expected, but we finally got the engine out of the car. I do appreciate your patience. I wanted to get a video out sooner before I left for the Philippines, but I just didn't have enough time. Next episode, we're going to tear off the front and rear axle suspension and everything so I can build a frame to go then get it sandblasted. I do appreciate you guys watching the video. I hope you liked it. Please subscribe to the channel if you did. Leave any questions or comments below and I'll get back to them. And I'll see you guys for the next episode.